New home sales surge almost 10%. Wow. What did Sandra Thompson say and do there over at the FHFA? Next. Those articles, and we're also going to kind of look at what is happening, the commercial versus residential markets, next on Real Estate Daily. Welcome everyone. My name is Troy, and every day we go over the latest news in real estate, housing, and the mortgage markets. Now, before we jump in, if you're out there selling your home, do me a favor. Right below us, we have a guide, a free seller's guide. Hit the link below and then go ahead and enter your email address and you will be sent a seller's guide. It will get a little less of the process in you, or actually a little more of the process in you and a little less of the anxiety going through. And it's really important. I can't reiterate this enough. Who you pick as a real estate agent really makes a difference on how much money you're going to net. There are so many times, especially in the last 2 or 3 years, when you had all these burger flippers and fry girls out there selling homes, making money because homes sold themselves, but that didn't necessarily net you the most. That just got you offers. You need to find a professional real estate agent. Actually, go and, talk to 2, 3, 4 of them. Go ahead and figure out which one would best suit your needs and really net you the most money. This guide will help you do that as well. I can't reiterate it. I don't know how many times I've called a listing agent that never calls me back, and my client wants to put an offer in, and because of that, it doesn't create competition. What it does is create doubt. And when you create doubt, the client typically goes, well, just if you can't get a hold of the agent, just put a low offer in, versus the agent calls back and says, hey, we got a $550,000 offer. I go to my client and go, hey, we have to do $555,000. It only helps the seller net more money. All right, so let's jump right into it. U.S. home sales surged 6.9% in March as home buyers turn to builders. Very interesting here. We look at the market itself. Now, I've always said this. New home builds, first of all, are about 10% of the entire market. So you have 90% that's not included in this particular article, okay? So take that, number one. But typically, new home builders will jump up in sales when they see that there's buyers in the market. And I know that I've been showing new homes actually out throughout the Inland Empire, and a lot of those communities have so many people around them. There's so much money out there. A lot of people sold their homes, had cash on the sidelines, and then what they're doing is waiting for that new community that will fit their family needs, and they're jumping on it. And the wait lists are getting huge. I know that one of the ones I've been dealing with is Land C, though, over there in Fontana off the 210 and 15. My Lord, I went to the opening, it was about a month ago. And there must have been 500 to 1,000 people. They all signed up. I signed up a couple clients there. They had food trucks, 3 food trucks, all free food everywhere. They had all the models they had reopened, and their community is so backed up on who actually is going to be in line for the homes. And those homes are all in the 6s, 7s, up to $1 million. And some of the numbers haven't even been released. So we're seeing that resurgence here. So then it comes up and tells us that, new home sales proving Wall Street was wrong. So low inventory is not fake news. Okay. I've only been saying this for 6, 7 months. Now we're seeing this pop up because the numbers that Wall Street and the media are giving you are they're taking macro information, and then highlighting it and not giving you the full picture. It's all bullshit. And I keep saying it over and over. Low inventory is not fake news. There is none. I go out, my clients are like, Troy, I ask them, every week I go over my clients, hey, let's set it up. I need to get time slots open for you. And they're going, Troy, I can't find anything to buy. Everything is either higher priced or there's just none of my inventory on the market. Of course there's not. It's just not there, right? There's just not enough houses for people. I saw the statistic year over year, we were down 50%. So there's 50% less inventory. Well, of course, there's going to be 50% less pending sales. And of course, there's going to be 50% less, homes sold? Because there's just no inventory. So when you see all the negative, pending sales have dropped, or home sales have dropped, it has nothing to do with the actual market falling apart. It's exactly the opposite. It just shows that nobody wants to move out of their house in any time, in any fashion, because of inflation. All right. So before I jump into the next article, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Boom. It really helps out our channel here, and we want to continue to grow it. We want to give you the real news out there. All right, very distressing article here. This is Orange County Register, but we've been seeing this in every media outlet because this is one of the few outlets, and also with New York Post, by the way, that have really been hammering the government-appointed, Biden-appointed Sandra Thompson to the FHFA. Very, very bad decision. It's only taken her, a year and a half now to 2.5 years to really, really hurt the housing market and hurt minorities, especially minorities, which she's pledged to really help out. So let's go read this. Fannie Freddie increases debt fees on borrowers this summer. Now, initially, when we looked at these articles that came out the last couple of weeks, it was the people who had better credit scores were going to be charged more. Now, if I step back for a moment and I say, Fannie and Freddie, what's happening? They are flush with cash. They have been cash cows. And because the government seized them, over a decade ago, they've been in the Trump administration, they've been wanting to tear off and go back to being a run company under the GSE, not under government supervision. Okay. Well, Biden comes in, and of course the Democrats, they're all about over-regulating, and so they won't let them get out. So what they're doing is that they're flush with cash, and now the administration is just pulling that money out and allocate it towards their own agenda. So instead of letting Fannie and Freddie, who have stockholders, they just keep getting money pulled from them because the government owns a bunch of stock as well, and they can do what they want. Well, let's be very, very frank about this, okay? Let's go read about this because Sandra Thompson is getting crushed in the media. She's getting crushed in the industry. She continues to make bad moves, and she's continually saying, everything's fine. I'm just trying to help out the little guy that can't really get up and get a house. Well, no, you're doing exactly the opposite. You're hurting that person severely. So here is some of the things that has been said about her. It says it's been a bad week for Thompson. We'll start right here. It's been a bad week for Thompson, who recently had to release a let's set the record straight statement about the change in an unusual move for the government official in my dozen years of writing this column. She wrote, unfortunately, much of what has been reported advances fundamental misunderstanding about fees charged by enterprises and why they are updated. Guys, Fannie and Freddie are flush with money. They have more money sitting for mortgage insurance than they've ever had before. They don't need any more money. The government wants to go dip their hand in that money. And so how do you continue to be able to guarantee you dipping it? Well, you keep charging higher fees, which only hurts the people who buy their home. But if you go one step further, Thompson was referring to another bright idea of hers, and this is very facetious, obviously. Reducing fees for lower down payment borrowers with lower credit scores simultaneously raises fees on similar situated borrowers with higher credit scores. Let's be frank. Anyone that's in this industry knows that Fannie and Freddie do most of their business on conventional loans. That's what they buy. When you have lower credit risk borrowers, okay, who with lower down payments, which is FHA, Federal Housing Administration, those borrowers aren't using these programs. They're using FHA, which has nothing to do with this. So instead of minorities / lower borrowers, lower down payment borrowers, okay, getting any kind of relief, they're not here on FHFA or conventional loans. They are over at FHA. She is doing nothing but lining the pockets of the blue team that's out there and getting them more money to go ahead and pull out of everyday taxpayers who are looking for the American dream and giving it out to the big government who's going to take their money and spend it on other agendas, including, you know, the war in Ukraine or all the other crap that they want to continue to narrate through. This does not help anyone. If I go and look, me personally, you know, if I broke down just off the top of my head who I actually sell homes to, 75% are Hispanic. Okay, straight off the bat. There probably is 12 to 15% Asian. Then it goes to 10% African American, 10% Caucasian. That's the breakdown that I'm selling. If I look at the history of myself, and I've done 1,000 homes. Now, I can't be accurate on some of the ones that were sold because I'm only looking at last names. You know, I don't look at the person themselves. They have nothing to do with it. It's about a money transaction and real estate. But the person I jump in my car, my buyers, they're 75% Hispanics. They're the ones that are screaming at why the FHFA and the federal government and the state of California continue to pound them down and just make and hurt them by charging higher fees. There's no question about it. Now, some of you out there can say, well, that's a macro look at Southern California. If we look at the entire United States, the thing is that on an application, you don't have to tell you can lie about your ethnicity. You have to tell them about your ethnicity. So they don't know. But if any of these people were to be actually in the real estate industry and were boots on the ground, they would know. But you're hiring people for other reasons than their experience, that they've ever run a company, that they've ever been in a mortgage industry, that they've ever been in a real estate industry, that they've ever seen the statistics. All we're doing is we're hiring just whatever we think is a narrative of the day. That's it. It's another bad Biden hire right here. And to turn around and charge, and it says an average here is $2,600 to the majority of minority, which is Hispanic buyers. Now, I wouldn't even call Hispanics minorities here in Southern California. They're by far the majority that I actually see out there. But I don't know the exact statistics in the state of California, and I surely do not trust any state agency here because they are just full of shit. We all know that. But I can only go by my experience and all the homes that I sold and the buyers I'm putting in in right now. If I go and take a look at who I have in escrow right now, there are 2 Hispanics and an Asian, right? That's exactly it. Okay, they're the ones that are complaining about what is happening at FHFA. They're again, this is a money grab, but they want to use the social agenda narrative to run what they're doing. So I'm done on my soapbox here. Let's go move on. Commercial pain, residential gain. More office space is being converted to residential use. We see this. We see it, but a lot of that commercial use is just not conducive to residential, and you got to keep that in mind. You just can't snap your fingers. I mean, we've been screaming and yelling that in San Francisco, but again, who wants to go into a major city with all the crime, with the defund the police and all the homelessness and convert a commercial that's all vacant to residential? It doesn't make sense, right? The only thing you would do is convert it for the homeless. Right? But then again, the cities are broke because you're having businesses leave in groves and go to other states as well as good paying citizens. All right, let's jump into Optimum Blue here, which is the interest rates. Again, we're seeing it just bump up a little bit, but again, Jumbo just went through the roof, man. Jumbo is as chaotic as possible. Conforming went up 0.05. Bingo. Now we're at 6.45. We're looking at FHA up 3 points. Now it hit 6.4, but Jumbo went up 19 basis points, ridiculously high. Doesn't make any sense. you're just seeing this wild ride for jumbo. It is all over the place. And that is a very viable loan here in Southern California. Like I said before, and I'll say it again, make sure you're with the right loan officer. If you're not, he'll just lock you in on whatever day. He will not be able to time the market and know when these wild swings happen. Well, guys, thank you very much for joining me today. If you have any comments, please leave them below. More than happy. Otherwise, you guys have a fantastic weekend. It's going to be warm here in Southern California. Enjoy it, and I will see you on Monday.